welcome back to An Abundance of Sophie. So this is part 2 of my Melbourne International Comedy Festival review. If you haven't watched part 1, you should probably click on the card that's up the top. Is it over this side? Is it this side? I'm so bad at this. But anyway, click on that, go watch part 1, then come back and watch part 2. But anyway, let's kick this off. Next up was a show that I never intended to see. It was the only show for the festival that I went to that I didn't know any of the acts, and I literally went just because I'd had a crappy day at work and decided that I needed a good laugh. So I jumped online, found that there was this show called 3-Course Comedy, basically cheap ticket. You go, you get 3 comedians, you have no idea who they are until you get there, and I had a really good time. The first comedian was called Brett Blake, and literally I didn't take notes throughout any of these shows for this review. I know, surprising. But if I had have taken notes, I think my note would have been mullet, bogan, great. Yeah, that pretty much sums this guy up. He had a luxurious mullet. He was very bogan. Not saying that's a bad thing. And he was great. His jokes were very much, this thing happened to me. It was funny kind of style, which I enjoy. I love anecdotal jokes because they're kind of my sort of thing. So he was fantastic. I, after the show, went and tracked him down and now follow him on social media. And it was a good decision. Next up was Joe Schaefer. Again, if I was taking notes, my notes would have been Texas. After this, I did kind of want to go see his individual show, but I wasn't able to fit it into my schedule or my budget, so I didn't get to, which was a total bummer. But he was so great. I think what sums up his comedy is one line he says during his show, which was that, yeah, that's it, I'm gonna laugh harder at my jokes than you are. And I think that's a sign of just not only a good comedian, but a top bloke, that he just finds the humour in himself. And I really enjoyed that. And it was just a really good energy in the venue. And yeah, he was awesome. Check him out. Last up in 3-Course Comedy was Pete Jones. I've seen bits and pieces of stuff that he's done before, but like not enough that I associated his name with his face, with his voice, if that makes sense. Like, I recognized him enough to go, pretty sure I know who you are and I'm pretty sure I like your stuff. And by the end of his set, I was convinced I do indeed like his stuff. Very, very funny. Again, anecdotal comedy, which I guess is all comedy now? I don't know. This review thing is so hard, I don't even know why I'm making this video, but I am, so congratulations. So the next show I went to was the Do Go On live podcast. By far, highlight of my Melbourne International Comedy Festival. I can't say enough good things about
Do Go On.
I only found them a couple of months ago when Matt was on the Weekly Planet, and I'm so glad he was, because not knowing about this podcast would have been like the worst thing to happen to me. It is hilarious. They are great people. I've hung out with them a couple of times and they are just such nice people. And they're really appreciative of the fact that people actually listen and people actually like the show, which astounds me because everybody should listen and everybody should love this show. So definitely listen to it. In particular, the show that I went and saw was the Coca-Cola episode. And I also went and saw them a second time and saw the Loch Ness Monster episode. Even got a quick little shout out on it. Thanks, Jess. I got your back. You can always guess the topic, even if it's your topic. So after Do Go On, I went to see another Do Go On podder. I went to see Jess and Naomi's show, Twins. Now, I've never seen Naomi, didn't really know who she was, but like, had to go see Jess's show. So I went not really knowing what to expect. Jess was great. Unfortunately, because I saw one of her like practice sets a week before the festival started, I already knew some of the jokes, but even knowing the punchline, they were still hilarious. That's always a good sign of a joke, is if you can hear them multiple times and still laugh. But yeah, the whole setup was really fun. The girls came out onto stage in this like fake boxing setup, which was really funny. Good little skit. Pretended the show was over and that you had to go home because Jess was pissed that Naomi had slapped her. And then they came back on stage. Jess did her set. Naomi did her set. Both very, very hilarious girls. I'm now following Naomi on social media. I'm also now unable to ever watch the OC because the entire thing is spoiled by her show. Just one specific joke that just, yep, spoils. Good thing I never intended to watch that show. But yeah, they were super funny. And finally, the final, but not final because Do Go On was the final, but anyway, the last, I went and saw Bart Freebaum. So he was great. I love Bart. He is such an excellent comedian. He was on the Green Guide episode that I went and saw to kick off the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. He's been on Green Guide plenty of times, and I've loved him every time he's been on it. He is just hilarious. His show was about food, which is fitting because Bart is about food. Anyway, so good. Oh God, I don't even know what to say. It was hilarious, but unfortunately for Bart, what I found most hilarious about his show was that there was just this laugh coming from behind me at the back of the room that I just went, huh, Demi Lardner's here. Cool. And that kind of distracted me for a little bit, but in a good way. But yeah, Bart was great. Every anecdote he told was both hilarious and realistic, and also a little bit sad in that realism, because I totally relate. But yeah, so that was my Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Everyone who I've mentioned, I'm going to link them down below because you should go and check them out. The podcasts that I mentioned, you should go listen to them. If you like comedy, just see comedians. I don't know anymore. Just have some fun. Fun is good. But anyway, moving on from the ramble that has been this video, thank you guys for watching. As always, please like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe to my channel. And for a greater abundance of Sophie, you can find me on my social medias, and hopefully it will not be a month before I post again.